Hello, hi everyone, and welcome to the Friday Cuppa. I'm Victoria, and we're back for another episode, and this week is an exciting one. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome the legend that is John Fuggles. Give me 1 second. Hi, John, and welcome to the podcast. As usual, the first question is, how do you have your cuppa?
Well, it's interesting. What did it say? Exciting, amusing, and the legend. So no pressure then. I'm not a tea person. I'm a man of simple pleasures. Coffee, no milk, no sugar, as long as it's decent coffee. That's it. I'm not really a tea person, I'm afraid to say. But
Let's get on to the important one now.
hmm,
Help for Ukraine. I'm just
yes,
going to show a quick slide so we can still talk. So,
okay,
in 2022, you
yeah,
co-founded Help for Ukraine, and to date, you sent 49 vehicles over there. Did you
yeah.
ever imagine that you'd achieve such a thing or that there would be an ongoing need for it?
Well, first of all, I have to say huge thanks to a dear friend of mine, a guy called Mark Strong, who without him, this would never have happened. I never set out with any objectives or targets, right? It started out with just want to do something to help. So I remember after 3 days of watching what was going on, I rang Mark and I went, I'm really pissed off about this. This is like just wrong. I want to do something. And he said, well, some of us are raising some money and we're going to buy some ambulances. And I just said, I'm in. And that's how it started. And Mark, to this day, is still an absolutely phenomenal part of the machinery that is Help4Ukraine. He organizes all of the logistics. He does all of the paperwork, which needs to be in multiple languages, and so on and so on and so forth. So we started out with that as a mission. Then through a common, through a friend of mine, he said, look, there's another guy I know wants to do the same. You should meet him because I think you'll get on well. So I then met in a coffee shop somewhere in central London. I met a guy called Nick, and he said, John, I can raise money and, I want to kick this off, but I want someone I can trust and rely on, a team I can trust and rely on. And over a cup of coffee, we shook hands and we agreed to work together. He recently has stepped down through ill health, so we still have a it's properly structured. So we have a board of 3 people now, not 4. But yeah, Nick has been phenomenal. It helped the fact that he's Lord Munson, member of the House of Lords, and it kind of opens doors.
Yeah.
So that was all jolly good. But all of that just, again, happened by circumstance, and we never set out a mission. We just said, we want to raise some money. We want to be purely humanitarian. We don't want to get involved in some of the other stuff.
And I don't think people always realise how much work goes on in the background when it comes to charity work. That's something I've learned. There's a project I was working on last year that's currently being paused, but even at the early stage, the amount of information you have to have and whatnot just to get things going is phenomenal.
Well,
So when you've got someone with the connections and that knowledge, that's an amazing start to have.
And as soon as you say you're driving into a war zone,
Yeah,
all the rules change. So we're still doing it. We did a dinner last week. We raised enough money to send 3 more ambulances. And people say, how much does an ambulance cost? Well, buying an ambulance doesn't achieve anything. You've got to fill it up.
Yeah.
And we have deals with the Department for Health and Social Care with various other sponsors, the NHS. So you've got to fill it up. You've got to deliver it. We drive across the border to Lviv.
Well, before you explain that, I've got the question in there, which is how many people are involved with sending an ambulance over, and what's the timescale from start to finish?
Well, so each ambulance has 2 drivers, and you are either trying to sleep or driving. We don't stop. We stop for fuel and coffee, basically.
Right.
We don't even stop for lunch. I tell people to bring, think of a packed lunch you can eat while you're driving, kind of thing. So we don't stop. And the reason being, if you stop, you add in hotel costs, you add in all sorts of other costs, and it just, and also it means taking days off work, which for some people is difficult. So we are, to coin the phrase, pedal to the metal. If I tell you before the ambulances go, we have a fantastic group of people that service the vehicles, give them an MOT. So I have to give a shout out to Garth Road MOT Centre, who do all of that for free, no charge whatsoever. But then we have to insure it. We have to get 2 drivers. We even take the speed limiters off because we go through Germany on an autobahn, and it's amazing how fast you can drive an ambulance downhill.
Do you know what? When we've driven over in Europe, which we do a couple of times a year, it always feels weird when we come back driving here. I so much like the roads over there are so much nicer and so open. I love it.
Yeah. We go pretty hard and fast. So we go across. We hand over to Lviv. There's a charity we work with in Lviv. They do the last leg, but we do everything is done to the best of our ability. We have a full manifest when we leave. That's checked when we hand over. That's checked when it's delivered, and it goes to hospitals or it goes to the Army Medical Corps. We've delivered, but we will only deliver to recognised groups. We deal directly with the senior managers at hospitals. Every vehicle, before it goes, we know where it's going to, what kind of hospital it is. So if it's a children's hospital, it has very different things to an Army Medical Hospital, has very different needs. So before we go, that's all arranged. When we then hand over in Lviv, it's usually late at night. So we leave my house silly early on a Saturday morning. I can tell you that regularly we leave my house on a Saturday morning and I'm back in the office on Monday.
Wow.
We hand over in Lviv, stay the night in Lviv, get extracted to Krakow, fly home. The fastest we've done door to door is 22 hours.
Wow. That's pretty.
The average speed was over 80 miles an hour.
But autobahn.
Exactly, in an ambulance. So back to your question, we never set out with an objective in mind. 2.5 years later, nearly 3, we're still doing it. A lot of groups, we're one of many groups. A lot of groups have run out of run.
You did the fundraising dinner alongside the Ukraine charity, didn't you?
Yes. So Ukraine charity, fantastic group of people. First time we worked with them. I hope we work with them. We want to work with them again. I hope they want to work with us again. We want a long-term relationship with them. They are brilliant people. Ukraine charity has been around a long time, and they're very good at what they do. So we raised enough money to deliver 3 more ambulances, which we will do after the new year. We've got enough money for another 6 coming soon, and we've got some other sponsors we're talking to. So I guess the 3 elements are raise some money, buy an ambulance and fill it up and deliver it and get home safely.
So that kind of ties into my probably last question for you, Ish. What is next for the charity, and how can people help you? Obviously, we've got on the screen the website for people to visit. How can they help? How can we help?
Sure. I mean, there's different ways of raising money, right? Most of the money we raise is through events and corporate sponsors. So if you want to run your own mission, we call it a mission: buy, fill it up, deliver, get home. That's the mission. If you want to run your own mission, talk to me. We can. I don't need my branding and stickers on the side. If you want to put your own company logo on the side and you want to drive it yourself, we will do everything. We will arrange everything for you. We have people who want to drive. If you want to drive, you have to pay. That sounds odd, but if you want to go down the pub and brag to your mates that you've been to Ukraine, you've delivered an ambulance, it's only fair that you pay for the privilege, right? We will arrange everything. We will guarantee who you deliver it to and where it goes to. So how you get involved, that's how. If people want to organize events and fundraise and they want our help and involvement, I mean, the bottom line is really, really simple. Visit the website and send me a message. Or, I mean, to be honest, it's not difficult to find somebody with a name like John Fuggles, is it? Either on YouTube or Facebook. So find me and message me, and let's talk. Really.
Yeah.
We're just trying to do all that we can.
John, thank you. You've been an amazing guest. And before we close, I just want to wish you all the best. Thank you, John, and thank you everyone for watching.